When it came to me, it all came back to the fact that I was unwilling to give up the scientific method. So I didn't want to start to use I think strategies instead of the scientific method. So for me, it was trying to understand how the I think strategies could actually be integrated and fit in to dovetail with the scientific method. What I've found is that students are really good at being able to come up with a purpose and hypothesis. And they're really good at collecting materials and methods and doing the experiment. And they're good at making observations. The problem lies with being able to make the jump from making the observations to understanding what they mean, or to making the conclusions. And what I realized, and what my epiphany actually was that the ladder of inference is actually the framework, it's the structure that students need to be able to make that jump from observations to conclusions. So with respect to my own class, what I always come back to is I get frustrated with the fact that students know how to write notes and they know how to kind of understand theory that we give them, but sometimes they don't understand how to learn. And so what the ladder of inference does is it actually gives them the structure that they need to be able to learn how to make conclusions, which is really, really powerful. When a scientist asks a question at the beginning of the scientific process, then what they do is they reframe that as a purpose, which is the starting of the whole scientific process. And what I realized was the question that you ask at the beginning of that process is the question that goes at the top of the ladder. And then with respect to the ladder of inference, the data pool that we see at the bottom really isn't the data of the experiment in the true sense. What the data pool is everything that a scientist or a student knows about a certain topic. And then what they can do is they can actually pull the pieces of information out of the data pool which are relevant to answering the question they're interested in answering. And then what they can do in terms of interpreting that data is they can actually compare the selected data with the observations, or what I would refer to as the real data, to see how they're connected with each other. And in doing that comparison, that brings them to that aha moment where they realize that they know what the answer to the question is, which is the conclusion.